everything's dead. Everything's... Anyway, I thought, this is death. I also became aware of the fact that I was in eternity. I was... There's this curious feeling that I'm out of time. Time isn't there. There's a distinct feeling of its absence. It's like you wouldn't know whether 10,000 years had passed or a second, or there is no sense of that time is passing. It's like I felt this is eternity, and because I felt it was eternity, I kind of felt like I could be here and never get out, because there's no time to pass. There's no end to it. The moment is forever. And I felt as well that I was on the other side of a wall or something, in a sense that you that's alive, my family and everybody, were there, and I'd never be able to reach them and tell them, I'm here, I'm in this place, I'm in this place, and I'd want to say, I'm here, but they'd never know where I was. They'd never know. They were in life and I was somewhere else. And I thought to myself, this is hell. I thought, this is hell. Hi, I'm Gordon. I want to give my testimony, how I became a Christian, how I got to where I am now. I've lived a bit of a life, so I want to try and condense the first part of my life as much as I can, so that I can get to the actual experience that I want to describe. So I was born in Scotland. I grew up, I got into bands. Concurrently with that, I was always a seeker, I'd say, looking for the meaning of life, and is a life after death. I didn't have any religious upbringing. I've got no religious background, but I did kind of become very interested in, supernatural things, in different types of beliefs and all that kind of thing. And also, like most musicians, dabbled in drugs, I've done a lot of drinking, a lot of wild living, just a whole lot of the usual stuff that kind of, artistic kind of people seem to get drawn into. Brought me a lot of highs and a lot of lows, more lows than highs. And to cut a long story short, by the time I was about 45, I think, 45 probably, my music career had really run aground for quite a few years. It was doing okay it was what I'd done for quite a long time, but it really came to the point where there was no future in it, and I was able to accept that, and I was just taking what kind of work I could get. I was mostly doing a lot of building work, decorating work. I, to some extent, cleaned up my lifestyle. I wasn't wild anymore. I still drunk and stuff like that, but it wasn't excessive. I was staying fit because I was doing a lot of physical work, and but also I was very more at peace with myself as to what I believed about spiritually, about reality, and about things like that. And I'd kind of come to the term that, because I'd been into everything, I'd been into the occult, I'd been into meditation and Buddhism and mysticism, and I did have a kind of interest in the Bible and stuff like that, but it was no different from anything else. There was no kind of differentiation, and what I kind of had come to the conclusion was that reality was just this kind of thing, like, God is everything, it's whatever you make it, but there was no way of kind of pinning anything down. There was no way of kind of getting some kind of fixed truth on anything. It just seemed like, and I think that at heart, from a very young age, I was, not so much afraid of death, but also, like, it was more like trying to find out the right thing to do for death, the right thing to be believing, the right thing to be focused on. And I just, like, I'd had some strange experiences, some interesting, out there things, but nothing that led me to any conclusions. All just seemed to be dead ends. So anyway, I'm at this point in my life. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with the fact that I'm not going to make it as a musician anymore. I'm at peace with the fact that, I'm not going to find, the meaning of life anymore. No, I'm not, it's just not coming together. Anyway, I got to some, it was, so, at some point, I used to smoke dope when I was more of a musician and that. I'd quit it for a long time. Occasionally I'd get kind of, a slight little urge, think it would be nice to have a smoke, but it would be something just like, have it for a couple of days or maybe, a night or something like that. But it was just practically unheard of. I'd never touched this stuff really, for years. Anyway, thinking I was being kind of, slightly more clever about it, I picked up some legal high that at some point, and thought, oh yeah, I'll have that, at some point in the evening when everybody's out or whatever, and I'll have a smoke, like recreational. Felt like having a smoke. Unbeknown to me, this stuff was became later known as something that was associated with people having heart attacks and massive psychosis and all this kind of stuff. But I didn't know that. I just thought it was going to be a milder kind of hit than grass or whatever. So it's probably the weekend, and I think my wife was out or was away or something like that. I had house to myself, whatever. I've smoked this stuff, and it's come on really, really strong, stronger and stronger and stronger, and I start to feel like my heart is I'm really aware of my heart beating. It's beating harder and harder. It's not painful, but it just feels a little bit distressing because it feels like it's kind of out of my chest. It's like everything exaggerates a bit. It's whatever the dope stuff is doing, it's kind of making everything exaggerated anyway. So this feels like I think my heart's going to explode. I think I might be going to have a heart attack. I'm not kind of a panicker. I don't like pain. Nobody does, but. So it wasn't painful, but it was pretty kind of this is kind of a bit heavy, and I just seemed to be getting more and more out of it, to the point that I wasn't feeling my hands anymore. Everything just felt like rubber. There was no feeling. I started splashing my face with water. It just wasn't doing anything. It was like I couldn't feel the water, cold water. It was like I couldn't get it together. So I was thinking, this is a bit rough. I thought, what am I going to do? But what started to happen is I started to go into sort of black. I started to sort of almost like not lose consciousness, but kind of almost leave my sensory awareness. It's like I'd kind of, if I let myself, I'd go into black, like I was still there in this black place, but I wasn't aware of my body anymore. And then I kind of pull out of it, like it was almost like forcing yourself to stay awake, but I kind of kept going into it again. And every time I went into this black place, it felt really, really heavy. It felt like the initial feeling was just that this is like a gateway. If I stay here for longer, it's going to become more. It's going to unfold. I'm going to get deeper into it. But it wasn't like losing consciousness. It wasn't like I was passing out or something like that. I was completely, when I was there, I was conscious, and it's like I'd rather I wasn't conscious. But I was, and it really didn't feel good being there. But at some point, struggling with this, I thought, it was kind of night time. I thought, I'll just try and go to sleep in this state. And something in my mind, I don't know, it's just like, just wishful thinking, thought, whatever happens, I thought, I think I'll get through this. I think I'll be alright. It's just what I thought. But what happened is that I just kind of went with it, and I'm in this blackness, and it's like a place. It's a place. This blackness, there isn't. It's just everywhere. It's through me. It's in me, and it's everywhere else. And it's just black, thick, black as black you can ever imagine. Now, the first thought that came to me, I started to have thoughts. I started to almost receive. It's like the place had a kind of intelligence. You knew whatever you want to know about it. It was easy to understand. And first I understood, I thought, this is death. This is the absolute absence of life. I just felt that wherever life was, it wasn't here. And I was very aware that when we're alive in normal life, that life that we have is a kind of not just a given, it's something we're experiencing. But we can still be us without it, without life. And I'm here in death. I'm still aware. I'm not gone. I'm there, but it's death. Everything's dead. Everything's... Anyway, I thought, this is death. I also became aware of the fact that I was in eternity. I was... There's this curious feeling that I'm out of time. Time isn't there. There's a distinct feeling of its absence. It's like you wouldn't know whether 10,000 years had passed or a second, or there is no sense of that time is passing. It's like I felt this is eternity, and because I felt it was eternity, I kind of felt like I could be here and never get out, because there's no time to pass. There's no end to it. The moment is forever. And I felt as well that I was on the other side of a wall or something, in a sense that you that's alive, my family and everybody, were there, and I'd never be able to reach them and tell them, I'm here, I'm in this place, I'm in this place, and I'd want to say, I'm here, but they'd never know where I was. They'd never know. They were in life and I was somewhere else. And I thought to myself, this is hell. I thought, this is hell. And I thought to myself, you can understand, as I describe it, I was sort of freaking out. I was like panicking, but at the same time, it was almost like an acceptance as well. I'll get back to that. But, I thought, this is hell, and I thought I wouldn't wish this, and I would not wish this on my worst enemy. I thought that I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, because I knew it was like you'd be here forever. It was completely lonely. It was unbelievable, ultra loneliness, completely cut off from life, completely cut off from what we have when we our breath and our feelings, our air and everything like that. Just life, and I felt that. And in my mind, I thought, I wouldn't wish this on Adolf Hitler. And I don't know why, because I've seen subsequently other people that testify to these kind of things, and they always say, they'll often say, you wouldn't wish it on Adolf Hitler. It's almost like, the place itself is saying that no human should really be here. No human should be here. But I'm there, And what I want to say about it is that what I understood, I don't know how long I was really thinking, and I was in this place in the sense of, what I'm saying is, all this information could have almost come all at one time. It wasn't like linear. I just understood certain things, and what I understood as well was that everything that I'd ever done, good or bad, had absolutely no value. All the experience that I'd accrued through my trying to sort of become more spiritual, and that meant absolutely nothing. It had no value. All the art that I'd done, all my drawings, my music, all my songwriting, all the writing. I was a prolific songwriter. I'd written like hundreds and hundreds. It meant nothing. It had no value. It was like saying, these things have no value. These things do not make it good. These things do not get you out of that place. These things don't get you out of here. These things have not earned you anything out of this place. You're in nothingness, and nothing you've done has kind of qualified you to get out of here. All the hard things I've been through. When I was a kid, I used to get bullied. I went through long periods of depression. I struggled with certain things in my life. I've overcome certain. It was like saying, means nothing, means nothing, means nothing. It's almost like, maybe you'd been through the most heroic thing in a war, and you'd saved lots of lives, and you'd got a medal. It was like it's saying, means nothing, means nothing. Nothing that you've done means anything. And also, it was like, a real sense that the whole direction of my life somehow had been in the wrong direction. It was just not for the right. I wasn't living for the right reasons. I wasn't very sure about what the right reasons were, but I had a feeling that being a good person or being a better person, I wasn't looking in the right places. It was not just a case of like, not doing enough good things. It was an entirely different outlook which I hadn't found, and as a result of that, I'm here. I'm in hell, and I've missed the point, and everything that I'm experiencing, everything I've done, has got no meaning. All the work you've done towards, all that time you spent building that family home, all that time that you spent making it to the top of your career, all that time, all that trouble you went through, all the hardship you went through, all the incredible difficulties you've been through, the whole life you've lived sorrowful, beat upon, it means nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing. It has not established anything good in you or valuable, not to whoever was in control of this reality. And the next thought was, this is hell. There is a God. Because I just knew this place was the absolute absence of him. And I felt that God, this is what you have without him. But when you've got him, you've got all the other stuff, life and the good stuff. All the life seemed to be so. I realised life was such a gift. Life is such a gift. Life is a gift. I mean, it really is. When you walk down the street and look at the sea and stuff like that, you're just borrowing it. You're gonna have to give it back, unless he gives it to you. I mean, anyway, we'll get back to the point. I thought there is a God. Now, I'm in black, remember. I'm in just complete black. Now, I've had all different kind of concepts about what God is. God's everything. God's in a table. God's in a chair. God's you. God's me. All that stuff. But what I understood in just blackness, never seen anything, never been told anything, just coming to conclusions, I thought there is a God, and he's the one in the Bible. I just knew it was him. I knew that although we're also grown up now about how we look at spiritual maturity, spirituality and stuff like that, all this stuff, quantum physics and particle observers, observing subatomic particles and all alternative universes, multiverse, wherever. But the God that made it all is the one in that, that black leather Bible. That guy, that's the one. I knew without any, the same way I was coming to these conclusions about eternity and about all this stuff about life and deep, he was saying, it's him, he's God. And it was a super shock to me, because I thought that, oh no, he's just one of the kind of more manifestations of truth in that part of the world, like the Judeo-Christian thing, or Judeo, I just thought, now it's saying, no, it's him. And everything else is trash. It's trash. Everything else is absolutely no value. It was really, really particular. So I'm kind of going, I'm not thinking these thoughts. These thoughts are coming to me. I'm surprised as anyone else would be. So the point is that I do come, the next day I come to, I kind of wake up, I'm okay. But I'm pretty like, whoa, wow, that's really put the frighteners up me. I mean, and I was kind of like just coasting along. I was kind of like, mid-40s, thinking, I've kind of mellowed out. I've grown up, and I thought, I'm not mellowed out now. I've got to get to the bottom of this. I've got to work it out. So I go online, and I've never looked at these things before, but I checked out some, near-death experiences, and I didn't realise, there were people that said, I've been to hell. And I'm looking at them, and this is when it started to kind of get to me, because I was to some degree able to still compartmentalise what had happened. I mean, it freaked me out, it was heavy, it was making me think I need to change my life and stuff like that, maybe it's something to do with becoming a Christian. I was thinking, I don't know, but the Bible and stuff, I didn't know. But the point is that seeing other people some of them were like much more graphic. Some people were in flames and fire and demons and all, and it was horrendous. But a lot of them did describe similar things to me. Darkness. You knew it was eternity. You knew you were not getting out. You knew you couldn't reach your friends. You know you couldn't tell your family. You know you felt like you deserved to be there. All this kind of stuff. And I thought, wow, this is heavy, because it's one thing to have a sort of vision or some kind of experience, but especially because drugs are involved, and you know, when things are kind of hallucinatory or even like dreams, you know, they have their own they have their own laws to them. I mean, you know, it can be like, you know, you walk down. I was walking down the street and then I saw a lion, and then it started speaking to me. It wasn't like that. It was uniform with a lot of these people's experiences, and it was pointing to sort of one thing. You know, it was like, there's a God, get right with him, that kind of idea. So the little that I knew, I mean, as much as I read the Bible, like, and dipped into it, I didn't really understand, you know, what Christians do. I didn't really relate the Bible to people who go to church. I thought the Bible as being like the works of Shakespeare. It's this classic book, and, you know, it's got deep hidden meanings and all that. And I thought the people who go to church probably don't understand much about it. But I kind of felt humbled now, and I felt that, well, they do go to church and they do read the Bible and they do live that life. So they are the best people to ask about this, whatever's gone on with me. So I think to myself, something had said to me, or something I had picked up from somewhere, was that when you get baptized, then you've become a Christian. You've sort of, that's what they do, and that means that when Christ died on the cross, you get baptized and it's done, and then you're all saved or something. That's what I thought. I didn't know any different. That's what I thought. So I thought, well, I'll go to a Baptist church. So I got in touch with the Baptist church, and I got in touch with the pastor, and he said, by email, and he said, I said, I want to just check out getting baptized. And he said, well, come and speak to us. So I went to speak to him, and he says, he says, you want to get baptized? I said, yeah, I just want private. I said, just you. I said, just drop me in the water, bring me out, and I'll just say goodbye. He says, well, it doesn't really work like that. He says, you know, you get baptized because you're recognizing that you're kind of, well, I know there's a lot of different aspects to it, but essentially saying, you know, it's in recognition that you're establishing yourself. You're a Christian. You know, you're a Christian. You're kind of declared to the world of a Christian. Look, I've died with Jesus, and I've now been raised with him. Anyway, I'm keeping it for, you know, people that don't know all the ins and outs of that as well. So the point is that I went, oh right, I thought, oh, it's later up. You know, you don't just come to church, get baptized. You know, you become a Christian first, basically, is what he was saying. And I went, a Christian? I thought, me, a Christian? And immediately, and I think this thought goes through a lot of people's heads, you think, what does that look like? And I thought, I don't think many people I know would like that. And I don't think they'd be comfortable with it, me becoming a Christian. I I just felt that I'd suddenly become incredibly uncool to anybody that knew me. So basically, a Christian. I went, it's weird. So anyway, he says, well, we can go through a prayer. He says, do you want to go through a prayer? And I went, no, okay. He says, well, would you say you're a sinner? And I went, yeah, I'm a sinner. Yeah, of course I'm a sinner. I mean, I didn't have any problem with that. That wasn't an issue to me, to admit that. I mean, you know, I knew as far as like speaking to a Christian, I thought, well, this guy's, I've probably done stuff, I'm assuming I've done a lot of stuff that this guy maybe hasn't done or he doesn't do. So the point is, hey Alan, where am I saying? He says, well, do you believe in Jesus? He says, do you believe Jesus is the Son of God? I says, well, I think I do now. I think, yeah, I do. Yeah, Jesus is the Son of God. So we went through a prayer, and I'm waiting for, you know, some wow factor to happen, and it didn't. You know, it just said the prayer, and then I went home. But when I went home, I started to kind of, over the next week, or it was middle of the week, and he'd said to me, well, look, try coming to church on Sunday, see what you think. This was during the week, you see. And he says, see what you think. So I'm kind of during, leading up to that, going, I keep, when I'm on my own, I've not told my wife, not told anybody about this. I've not told anybody about anything. Because I'm just kind of like perplexed. So I keep going to my knees whenever there's nobody about, and saying to him, dear God, forgive me for my sins, forgive me for this thing that I've done, and that thing that I've done, and this thing that I've done, and that. And I keep going through this list of things that I can think of to try and, and I keep thinking, is something going to happen? Maybe not, I don't know. But I feel very uneasy and more weird about this idea of become a Christian, want to become a Christian. So I go to church, and as soon as I get in there, I think, I can't do this. I think, no, because it's just all these kind of like, hi, hi, how you doing? And all these people, hi, nice to meet you. And I'm thinking, oh no, they're nice, but I'm not that nice. I can't do this. So I come back and I'm more perplexed about what I'm going to do, and I'm not really taking that and going to church seriously. And through the week, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, I keep going on my knees and praying and trying to confess and stuff like that, sins and things, and I'm just thinking about stuff all the time. It feeds into it as this experience that God is Jesus is God, and or the Bible and all that stuff's real, and it's all kind of going through my head. So anyway, in the middle of the subsequent week, I'm in the house during the day, and I'm in this little studio room that I've got with musical equipment and stuff like that, and I'm thinking these thoughts again. I'm thinking about them all, and I'm just going through them, and I'm sort of thinking, what's going on, and then I'm not thinking any particular thought. I'm not asking any particular question. I'm just sort of, and I go from like, say the room's about 10 feet, and I'm sitting at one end of it. I'm suddenly just thrown from that side to the other side, and I'm on my face. And something's there. I can't see it, but it seems to be almost like in a kind of, the general shape would be like a kind of, as if somebody had a sheet there going down. That would be that shape, but invisible. It's sort of, and it's just power coming down on me. Now that I'm a Christian, and now that I've experienced these things more, I knew that it was, I think that I would call it the angel of the Lord. I would call it that, because it seemed, I'd say it was like that. Well, to you that have never had this experience, there's something there, and it's immediately got power over me. I'm flat on my face. I am weeping immediately. I'm weeping profusely, weeping and wailing, and I can tell it is very God. It's God. It's God, and it's so God. It's Godish God. It's like, you recognise it when it's there. It couldn't be anything else. It's God. What I'd say, because I know now, is it was holy. I wouldn't have known at that time what holy meant, so I didn't know what I was experiencing, but I knew that it was just like awesome. It was scary, but it was wonderful. It was magnificent. It was incredibly powerful, and it had come to meet me. And it was at the time. Everything was just so. This is it. I've come. It didn't speak a single word. It just bore down on me. Now, as it's bearing down on me, with this power, and I'm weeping and wailing, I'm aware that it's doing something in me. It's doing something deep in me, and I don't. It's just doing something. But what it seems to be bringing up to me is that, in my mind, is that I've acknowledged Christ before. I know Christ. Maybe just being at school and, hearing the Bible story or something. Something in me is already acknowledged, almost received him, got it. And it was saying, you've been denying him ever since. You've kind of accepted him in some way. You accept him the minute you get it. You go, wow, he's amazing, something like that. It was almost like that. But you've been denying him ever since. And that was what the big sin was. The big sin was denial of Jesus Christ. And I was absolutely beside myself with remorse. I was just sorry. And I was going, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It wasn't like I was meeting Jesus, but it was like it was bringing me, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is the King of Kings, Jesus is the one. And the whole time I was thinking, of course it was him. It was always him. It's like all these things you've gone through, all these different ideas you've had about this and that. What does life mean? Is there a meaning? Da, 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 da. It's like, of course it was the guy on the cross. Of course it was him. Of course, it was like I was thinking, it was like a veil had been lifted over my eyes. It was like obvious it was Jesus. It was always going to be Jesus. It was Jesus. Jesus is God. Jesus is Lord. Jesus. It was just like Jesus. And so, I feel like I'm going through this thing, and it's just incredible. And I'm experiencing God. I'm thinking, God, it's God. It's God. When I say it's the angel of the Lord, when I use that term, God came to people in different kind of ways. When he came to Moses in the burning bush, sometimes it says the angel of the Lord, and I just use that term because that experience of kind of like a kind of supernatural encounter with God is sort of, and you're flat on your face and all that. That's kind of the way it reminds me of that from especially the Old Testament. So anyway, God, it was God. It's God, and it starts to wear off, this feeling, and I'm just like amazed. I'm obviously amazed. I'm crying, but I'm almost now I'm kind of like laughing almost, because I can't believe this is just so out of the park. This is just way beyond anything that I've ever, I can't know what to think. I'm sort of snivelling and getting myself together and start to kind of pull out. Now, just as I'm kind of standing up, then I don't hear a voice. It just comes into my head very clearly. Words that say, "Christ comes as a king, clothed in glory. How shall he lead you that you are not clothed in righteousness?" And I go, well, what does that mean? And I'm thinking, it sounds like I've not done it, or I've not finished it, or something. And I'm kind of immediately getting a bit agitated, because I'm thinking, oh, did I not pass the test or something like that? It's almost like I thought was I supposed to do something when he was here? How can I lead you if you're not clothed in righteousness? I'm thinking, I don't even know what that means. I've never heard of it. What does it mean? So I pick up my computer in this state, and I sort of look up, and for some reason in my head comes repentance. The word repentance comes in. So I look up repentance, and it says turning away from your sin, and this is what I read, turning towards God. And in my mind I think, he's come. It's like he's revealed himself. He's showed me my sin and all that. It's like now he wants me to commit to him. That's what I just thought. It just come into my head. So what I do is I go down to the seafront, and I go down to the sea, and I say, it's all because I live near beside the sea, and I rush. I go there, and the waves are crashing. I say, Jesus, if I give myself to you, I give you my whole life. You take everything I've got, take all my dreams, aspirations, take everything my life is, take everything. I say, it's yours now, and I commit it to you, and that's it. So I do this thing, but I don't really feel any big, fireworks going off or anything like that. And then I walk up the seafront back to my house. As I walk towards the house, I think, I wonder if I've done the right thing. So I come back to the house, and I get there, I get in. It's about 3 o'clock. Now, the door goes. I've just made myself a cup of coffee, and the door goes. So I go to the door, and I've completely forgot that my son's getting dropped off from school. He's only 7 years old. He comes in, he doesn't know anything about what's been going on. He comes in. Of course, I'm just like, space cadet. I'm just completely thinking about this stuff. So I go, oh, hiya. He gets dropped off by a neighbour or something. And I say, and what he does is he gets down and he draws pictures. He just sits, when he comes every day, it's like draw pictures, Batman and Robin, every single day, Spider-Man, Batman and Robin, And I go, all right, and that high school good and that. So I go back to the window, drinking my cup of coffee. I'm looking out the window. I'm thinking, what is going on? I thought that was just so out there. Only a matter of minutes later, not a long time, tug on my jumper, and it's my son. And I go, all right. And I says, what's that? What is it? And he says, this is for you. And he hands me this drawing, and I think, okay, here we go, Spider-Man or something like that. And this is what he drew. And it is here. First thing I show. My son, I don't know if you can read that right because it says right, baby writing. My son, you done the right thing. And he drawn a picture there, you see, King Jesus. And he's on, Mr. Christ is written. He's on the clouds. And there's a Calvary cross. Now, if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what does. Praise God, hallelujah. So I look at him and I think, what? I said to him, I actually went, what? Why'd you give me that? I mean, I'm absolutely in shock. I went, what'd you give me that for? He says, I don't know. And he goes back to drawing Batman and Robin. Now, I don't have any information on that. That is what happened. That's the drawing. That was enough for me. My son, you done the right thing. I've never spoken to my son about it. It was just so. Anyway, that weekend, I'm like this, and I go back to the church. Of course, suddenly, I'm born again. I mean, I love everybody. I go in there, I can see light around everyone's heads. I can just see, hi, and I'm thinking, I'm the same. Hi, I love you. How are you doing? And you know, that's the story of how I became a Christian. So God bless you, and I hope that this blesses you. I hope this blesses you. Amen.